Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tammy. I'm the owner of Walnut Creek Bath Boutique. Today I am making a hot process liquid soap. I call it Sunset with the essential oil blend I use. In with my liquid soap is a red palm oil. It's an organic red palm oil, and that is what colors the soap. Maybe a little bit of the essential oil too, but mostly it's that red palm oil, and it makes a beautiful red soap. I love it. I have a lot of people that really like it. I'm heating up my oils now, so that's why you may hear the microwave in the background. I have my crock pot heating up. And let me just tell you a little bit about this liquid soap. I purchased this last year or the year before from the Ultimate Guide to Liquid Soap. And I'm going to link that down below. I purchased the liquid soap, and I purchased the hot process soap from her. She is so knowledgeable. She is a little over my head sometimes. I mean, it's perfect though. I mean, the scientific part of it, and she breaks down fatty acids, and she breaks down the do's and don'ts, and why you would put something in this. She's so knowledgeable, and I did learn an awful lot. Some of the scientific part of it, like the breakdowns, I have to read through a couple times, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the knowledge that she's giving and sharing with that, because there's my microwave. It can only make me better, right? Learning and gaining that knowledge of the chemistry portion of the soap making process will only make me grow and only make me better. So I really do appreciate it, even though it's a little over my head. I'm going to ask her permission before I air this. So if you're seeing it, she's given me permission. I'm not giving you the recipe. It is a recipe from her book. If you're seeing this, that lovely lady has approved, and but I would highly recommend it. If you are a soap maker and you want to introduce liquid soap into your product line, this is awesome. We all have to learn, right? We all have to learn, and we all have to start somewhere. I am following these recipes pretty closely. I'm completely comfortable changing and swapping out oils. I have no problem with that. I run it through the lye calculator. I have no problem with swapping oils, but anything beyond just swapping an oil here or there, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. So I'm still using her recipes for the most part. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see what I do, and we're going to make this beautiful, beautiful Sunset liquid soap. And side note, it's a 30-minute process. Scary. It's a little scary, and I'm hoping I won't totally flub this up, because hot process, when you get that heat involved, you can have some volcanoes and eruptions and different things like that. And so definitely this is more of an advanced technique. If you're new to liquid soap making, I would start with like the longer process, hot process, or even the cold process liquid soap, which is also in her book, which is, I never knew that you could have a cold process liquid soap. So start there if you're new to liquid soap. I have been making liquid soap for several years, so I feel, and I've already made this soap before too, so I feel comfortable making this soap, but I am increasing my batch size just a little bit. I went from 24 to 50 ounces, so I'm hoping my crock pot will do okay with that. Anyway, enough chatter, let's get to making. So I am right now getting my oils heated through. They have to start hot. Like I said, this is a 30-minute hot process technique. And so you have to start with everything hot to get that technique going. And if I'm not mistaken, the first time I made this, I didn't make it in 30 minutes. It took me a little bit longer. But that's okay. It turned out, it's not like it's ruined if you start with it a little bit colder and, you know, it takes you a little bit longer. I am using my rubber gloves for this, and I'm going to put them on and clean my hands with them. I have my liquid glycerin. I have my sodium lactate. And I'm using sorbitol instead of sugar this time. The first time I made it, I just used table sugar, or not table sugar, what is it? Just regular cane sugar. I'm using sorbitol which is the sugar, just because I have a lot of it on hand. So I want to use my dual lye. So I have potassium and sodium lye in my little pot here. And I have water on the back, my dilution water. Oh, I need my lye water in here. I forgot that. So I'm going to go measure my water for my lye. So this is glycerin and water together that my lye is going to go into. So let me get that. Oils are at 215, and I'm going to pour that in the crock pot. These are all very hot now. Look at that color. That's that red palm oil. It's beautiful. I've thought about using that in a bar soap to color it naturally. Would give it a nice natural orange color. I'll have to try that. Okay, so that's in there, and so now that that's ready, I am going to add my lye to my water and glycerin here. So now that, while I'm stirring this in, I'm going to go ahead and add my sugar to that. I'm going to add my sodium lactate. And I'm also going to add my liquid soap. Okay, I'm back. I took a break because I wanted to check my notes a little bit upstairs. I wanted to kind of look at that ebook that I got. Oops, that's a little much. Because the sorbitol is not really dissolving, but it does say to add it to the hot oils or the hot lye water. Sorry, probably should have added it to this, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to dissolve this pretty quickly because I want to get it hot, and I want to dissolve this and see if the higher temperature will get that sorbitol to melt or dissolve. And I'm going to add just maybe going to be, I want like what would be 5 or 6 pumps. It doesn't have to be measured. It's just to help the liquid soap saponify faster without adding, and this is just the soap I made earlier today. It's just plain old liquid soap. And without adding that, it takes a lot longer for this soap to saponify, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, I'll let you know that. Alright, so this is dissolved, and I'm going to unplug my crock pot for a second so I can plug in my stick blender, and I'm going to add this to my hot oils. Ooh, this is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Ooh, hot. Hot. Good night, that was hot. Alright, so now I'm going to blend this for like 5 minutes or so. You really need a really good stick blender for that. You just do. That was getting hot even at that. It took me about 6 minutes for this batch size to come to this really beautiful creamy consistency here. So I am going to put the lid on. Oh, I forgot to plug this back in. Let me pull it back over. Not a very long cord on these things. So now I'm going to let this cook for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and stir it. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Oh gosh. Oh, that is, I don't remember that happening. So let me shut this off. Let me see how hot it is. And I think it's time to add this is soap now. This is saponified soap. I just don't remember this. I'm going to have to get my metal container out. But I am going to add my dilution water right now. So let me go get that out of the microwave. I'm going to add about half of this in here. And now I have to stick blend this piece of rock. So I'm not sure that's going to work. So I am going to get my metal spoon. What did I do with it? I just cleaned it. I may have left it upstairs. Oh no, here it is. Get my metal spoon here and get it stirred in. It's still very hot, so I have to be careful. It is 168 right now with that water. So, you know, I'm not worried about it. I used to just, if it didn't look exactly like I wanted it to, or it felt like it should, or looked like, you know, the YouTube video that you get with the course, I would kind of like freak out and think I ruined it. But liquid soap's forgiving, and all I have to do is really dilute it. That's where I'm at right now. I'm diluting it. So I can keep it on low a little bit. I can, you know, just let it sit for, you know, a day and come back to it and put the rest of my water in there. It's not ruined just because it's doing something I didn't expect it to do. Or I shouldn't say it's not necessarily ruined. How hot? I should probably have my gloves on just because this is hot. So it's fully cooked. It's soap. It's a soap paste at this point that I'm just diluting. But there's no way I'm putting my stick blender in this. No way. I may have stick blended it a little too long the first go around. So, but I'm okay with that. I mean, it's fine. Look at this color. I have no colorants in here yet. And I don't have my essential oil blend in here, which is kind of orange. All right, guys, I'm going to turn you off, and if anything exciting happens, I'll bring you back. But really the next step is this is going to be completely liquid. It's going to dissolve in the water, and it's just going to be a liquid soap base at that point. So I'll bring you back when that's ready. It's the next day. Basically what you missed is I just let it cook on very low. I would put it on low, or I would put it on warm. I kind of kept going back and forth, and it slowly dissolved enough for me to get my stick blender in. So I put my stick blender in there, and I really went to town on it, and I got it all like homogeneous. It was really, really a creamy, very thick texture. This is still pretty thick, and it's still got some undissolved like soap pasty stuff. And I'm going to add more water. I do remember the first time I made this, I didn't have to add any thickener. So I don't remember why, what is it about this recipe that I didn't have to add any thickener. It's plenty thick. But I want it clear. And I've been stirring it, and it was maybe a little bit clear under this layer of paste. So I'm going to go ahead and add 20 ounces of water to this. And hopefully that 20 ounces of water will allow the rest of the soap paste. You can see it's very thinned out, but I'm not worried about that. I want a gentle soap. I can always thicken it with Crow Thicks or HEC later. But I want a gentle soap. And I was going to come down here and test the pH, but I want to make sure that it is completely clear and it is completely dissolved before I test the pH. So I'm just going to walk away for another day probably. Okay, it's been a day or two. I'm trying to remember actually. It's been a day or two since I last added that 20 ounces of water, and I just let it set. And All of the soap paste has dissolved and it's cleared up quite nicely. Look at that beautiful color. I am in love with this color. In love. So what I'm doing now is I'm testing the pH. So I have 2 grams of the soap in this little pot here, and I'm adding 18 grams of water to get like a 10% solution. I'm just going to stir that up. The last time I read my soap pH, it took forever for it to read. And it just kept slowly changing. Oh, it's good goodness. But I have my little pH meter here. I'm rinsing it off. I turn it on. I don't have my glasses on, guys. Let me turn the light on too so we can see it a little bit better. That's better. Okay. All right, and so I'm just going to pop it in here and wait for my little smiley face. See where we're at with everything. It's holding about 9.69, 9.7, and I just got my smiley face. So that's a good pH. I'm going to be happy with that. So I don't need to do anything to adjust the pH. Okay. Next, I'll get these out of the way. I am going to preserve this. So let me get my preservative out. I forgot to grab that. So I wanted to weigh off my soap here because I did have to add more water, and I wanted to make sure my calculations on my preservative were good. And they are, so I need 1/2 ounce of liquid Germall Plus. And then, hopefully I have enough, but I made up some essential oil. This is just my stock of Sunset that I made. And it's, if I remember, I can't remember if I've already told you, it has grapefruit, orange, Litsea, ylang ylang, and geranium. And I need 1.75 if I have that much ounces. And I do, just. I know you're not supposed to leave essential oils in clear jars, but this room is 100% dark when the lights are off. There are no windows in this room. So look how cloudy that's going to get that. That will clear back up. I'm just going to scrape this really well so I can get all of that preservative out of it. All right, and now I'm going to stir all of that in there really, really well. Again, it is clouding this up, but this, after sitting, will turn completely clear. It will be a completely clear, orangey red, orangey color. And that is all that organic red palm oil I put in here. It's beautiful. And it's thick enough. I don't need to thicken this. Even adding that 20 ounces of water that I had to add to more than I did last time, it's plenty thick all on its own. It's lovely. I've never made a liquid soap that I didn't have to thicken. I've never ever made it other than this one. And honestly, I have no idea what it is about this recipe that keeps me from having to add like Crowthix or HEC I think. All right, so I'm gonna get some bottles. Beautiful frosted glass bottles from SKS. I think they're amazing. And I fill these to about 9 ounces in this bottle here. I'm gonna try not to make a mess. Okay, And now I'm going to go get my plastic bottles for my craft table and my website. I get most of my containers from SKS. I also get these oblong, I think they're called, plastic bottles from SKS. Okay, I'm going to let these set. I just went ahead and packaged up the 4 for the spa and 3 for my online and craft show table. Again, I don't usually, I have a little bit here and there put the glass jars on my website, and sometimes I'll take 1 or 2 to the craft shows, but they're usually reserved for the spa and special orders and that kind of thing. I don't like the idea of shipping them. That kind of scares me a little bit. And I have to charge more. Clearly, this bottle is not cheap, but it's beautiful. It looks beautiful next to your, in your bathroom, with the lotion, especially. You have the 2 together. It's so, so pretty with that frosted glass. So it's worth it, but it is more expensive. But I'm going to let these set for a little while and kind of just settle in. I'm going to go ahead and pour this off into the distilled water jug, and so I can store this in that, and I am ready for this whenever either one is ready to be restocked. I have a good stock here ready for me to package. I'll show you the labels and everything, and maybe tomorrow after they've had a chance to kind of settle in and clear up a little bit. I want you to see how clear this is. All right, guys, it's been a day or two, and I have them labeled, and I wanted to show you how clear they got. So I didn't label this one, and you can see how clear it is. You can see the pump in there. So that's how I labeled this one. And then my glass frosted jar for the salon is in this one, and that beautiful color, that beautiful orange color. I am in love with this stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate your time. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and I'll just see you in the next video. Bye.